There's so many things that hold us back from sharing direct feedback right away because we don't really think it's the right thing to do now. We feel uncomfortable. We have a fear. But if we know how, if we've got the confidence and the model to share feedback properly, we would all be sharing feedback with candor, courage, and care.
Hey everyone, it's Amy Lynn Durham, and you're listening to Create Magic at Work. Create Magic at Work is on a mission to equip senior leaders with tools they need to be a true quantum leader and actually understand what that means. Improve employee engagement, retain top talent, and transform your workplace culture to have less drama and stress. So let's start making magic. Hey everyone, welcome to Create Magic at Work. Today, I have a very warm and friendly guest for you. That was the energy that came across to me when I first met Jill Katz. Jill is an influencer, speaker, and strategy coach that is passionate about shifting the workplace to be more people-focused. So, of course, there's no mistake why she's on Create Magic at Work today. She is the founder and chief Candor, Courage, and Care officer of Assemble HR, a talent strategy firm that focuses culture, communication, conflict, and change in the workplace. Jill brings candid insights, brave questions, humor, and empathy to her advisory practice. She is a seasoned human capital expert, facilitator, and executive coach with more than 20 years of success in the fashion, retail, digital technology, media, and banking industries. Wow, that is quite a collection. Jill is best known for her Candor, Courage, and Care feedback model. So we'll talk a little bit about that today for sure, which changes the way teams communicate and allows for more honest and productive relationships. Jill, welcome to Create Magic at Work.
Amy Lynn, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
I was stalking your LinkedIn for a little bit earlier because I was like, I know we met and we talked and Jennifer Chapman introduced us, but I was like, you know how sometimes the people you're connected to don't come up in your feed, so you have to go look at what they're posting. And I was like, wow, for everyone listening, connect with Jill on LinkedIn, by the way. Your posts are so warm and genuine. And I'm like, how does she get this across? I feel like mine are very businessy and like matter of fact, and yours are just so human. So yeah, I want to share that with you and with everybody. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about you and your journey. I know you've been, people call you an HR trailblazer. Maybe you can incorporate that into sharing a little bit more about you with everyone.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for such a kind comment. That is so nice and means so much to me. I think every time any one of us goes to our keyboard or our phone to put up a post, we all think to ourselves, my gosh, I hope that what I'm saying resonates with at least one person, and otherwise, why bother posting, right? And so that means so much, and I really appreciate that. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. First and foremost, I am a mom. I have two incredible, wonderful, just sensational kids. My daughter is 18 years old, which, oh my gosh, I don't know how that's possible because I'm only 20 myself. I don't know if anyone can see me here, but you know, that's why I look like I'm 25, right?
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the energy too, right? Like the vitality, I can feel it. Yeah.
Right. So my daughter just started college 2 weeks ago, which has been quite an unbelievable moment in all of our lives, a really big shift. And I have a son who is amazing. He's an actor and he just started high school last week. So life is an exciting, amazing, transitional moment for us. And being a mom has been for the past 18 years of my life what matters most, and plays a big role in the story of my career. So I am an HR executive. I have spent my entire career in HR, and I think that's one of the things that separates me from a lot of people that are in this business. I didn't transfer into HR. I actually started in HR, and I've been here since I graduated college. There's so few of us that actually picked this profession. And I'll tell you something that's really, really interesting. When I picked HR, it was actually called personnel.
Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah. So that should tell you how long I've been in this particular industry. So been in HR for about over 25 years now, and loved my journey, loved everything I did, had the opportunity to work in advertising, consumer packaged goods, banking, technology, the internet, then spent quite some time, about 15 years in fashion retail, loved all of it, learned so much, worked in all the facets of human resources, organizational design, recruiting. I mean, did all of it. Got to lead the function many times in a lot of amazing companies, and really, really loved my work. Unfortunately, I let my work take over and got the disease that many of us know as workaholism. And I let it take over. And it really got the worst of me. I became really unhappy and really unhealthy. And I had 2 kids at the time that were 10 and 7. I was working in New York City. I was commuting into New York City from New Jersey. I was leaving my house every morning at 7 a.m. I was getting home at 8 p.m., missing dinner, missing bath, barely having a chance to sit with my kids at bedtime. And most importantly, I was physically really, really unhealthy. I had gained a tremendous amount of weight. I had doctors telling me that I was at risk of lots of serious health concerns, and it was a bad situation. And so there was this one powerful day, Amy Lynn, that I was standing on the corner of 31st and 7th Avenue in New York City in front of a Dunkin' Donuts. And my husband said to me, "If you don't go in there and quit that job, I'm going in and quitting it for you." And a couple weeks later, I went in and I just quit my job sight unseen. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew that I was extremely passionate about the work I did. I knew that I was passionate about having time with my family. I knew I needed to reclaim my health. And I knew that there was a better way to do the work I was doing. And that is when I started my company, Assemble. In the first 18 months, I started my business. I put on a crossbody bag. I walked my butt into New York City every single day. I reconnected with people that I had worked with through the course of my career. I got the chance to speak to leaders about their teams, coach them on issues they were working on, help them set up leadership offsites, build training, work on organizational design, help them with all kinds of things, and put together a business model of my own. And more importantly, I lost 77 pounds and got the chance to reconnect with my kids.
Love it.
And fast forward to today, 6 years later, I'm a much happier person. I'm a healthier person. My company is now 21 people. We've got over 60 clients, and I love what I do.
So good. Thanks for sharing that. Those moments that, I was thinking when you were sharing your life going to work at 7 a.m. and coming home at 8 o'clock at night. Some of us, a lot of us in moments in our lives are in that, and we can't see a way out. And people say, oh, well, you have choice. You always have choice. But sometimes the person that is so in that cannot see the choice and feel like they don't have a choice. And I think it's pretty remarkable that having a friend, a partner, someone that helped give you permission to go quit your job, that's really helpful. And I know we're both executive coaches and we ask those curious questions over advising, but to have someone in your corner that gives you permission to take care of yourself, I just think that's a really great message for everyone listening, that's helpful, because we get stuck in this hyper-achieving loop, world, energy, and it really can be detrimental. And that's a big part of, a lot of the systems that we work in is this hyper-achieving moment where you can't give yourself permission to rest.
I was so guilty of that, Amy Lynn. I'm a great example of being totally lost in the need to be super successful and being overly ambitious. And I walked to the edge of the cliff 5 times and said, I need to quit. I can't. I need to quit. I can't. And every time I wanted to leave my job, I had 10 reasons why I can't do it. This isn't the right time. Not now. And I don't think I ever would have done it if my husband hadn't pushed me, challenged me, encouraged me, and supported me.
I get irritated at times when I hear the phrase, there's never the right time. It's never the right time. On one side, it sounds inspiring to me because we tell ourselves that, it sounds like you were telling yourself that this isn't the right time. I can't quit right now. I need to, I'm saying these things that I hear from that people, their fear, maybe their ego coming up to protect them. Wait, I need to pay off a little bit more debt, or I need to make a little bit more money, or I need to wait till my kids go to college. There's all these scripts that kind of run through our head. And I feel like what's true here? Yes, it's true that it's never the right time. It will never feel like the right time because change feels uncomfortable, right? I don't know. I'm just musing on that. And I'm also irritated when salespeople use that on me. Sorry, there's the light and the shadow of it's never the right time. I've had certain people say that to me trying to sell me things. And I'm like, don't use that on me. You know what I mean?
It has so many different meanings to it. And what's interesting about it is, as I reflect back, I think to myself, thank God I did it, because there isn't a right time, and it's such an excuse. It's such an overused concept. And every day that I waited, every day that I stayed there in purgatory, I was kissing goodbye a day of my life that would have been more meaningful to me, a day that I would have taken better care of myself, a day that I would have spent with my family, or a day that I could have invested in my own self and my own business. And I'm lucky that I got 6 years, and in this case, 6 years with my daughter before she left for college. But my gosh, I could have gotten 8 or 10. And so I always have some regret, and I'm always thankful that I did do it.
All right, it's time for a fun, playful, quick break. And it's time for you to discover your spiritual intelligence at work. So over here at Create Magic at Work, we are not just a great podcast. We are an executive coaching firm, a team dedicated to helping leaders like you create healthier, more fulfilling workplaces. Whether it's through private coaching, transformative workshops, or impactful keynotes, we're here to help support your journey to have less drama and stress and more magical moments in your life. So have a little fun. Take our quick quiz in the show notes and see where you stand. Discover your spiritual intelligence at work. Click on the link in the show notes and reach out to us for support if you need it. Sending magic to you. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it's really inspiring. So tell me a little bit more about this HR trailblazer. Where does that come from?
I spent my entire career doing human resources. And I also spent my entire career in human resources being told that I was different from every other HR person people had ever met. And it was one of those compliments that made me scratch my head. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I was always sort of bucking the system. I was always the person in HR or people saying, wait, why are we doing that? And does this make sense? And I was never, quite frankly, the one that cared about compliance or following the policy manual. That was never what was important to me. I was much more interested in culture way before culture was a thing. I was really interested in inclusivity and belonging before DE&I became a thing. I was really focused on employee engagement when the Gallup organization started to become a thing. And so I was really flattered when I started to be called a trailblazer by some people that I worked with, because I was part of a group of really talented peers that changed, I believe, the face of human resources. And today, I think in many cases, there are people that do what I do who are very smart, very strategic business leaders.
I mean, from my perspective, HR has really come a long way from when I first started in the workforce, which was 30 years ago.
No, that's not true.
It's true. And you know, I was always on what I thought was the cool kids team of the sales and management side of everything, right? And so as I moved through my career, in the beginning, HR was the people we avoided because we didn't want to get in trouble with whatever we were having fun doing. I mean, it wasn't like terminable offenses, but we were just like, oh God, there's HR. Let's go to this other place, you know? And then as we moved through a little bit more, it wasn't until later in my career that I really felt like my HR support team was just that, what I just said, a support team for me and my over 400 employees, right? So it's really, really changed. And now with all of these concepts being more embraced in the workplace, like spirituality, bringing your authentic self to work, HR has really been some of the major players in that, in bringing that to life. And it's really just surprised me that as I started Create Magic at Work, the more people I talk to are people from HR. And they really are grasping this new paradigm of leadership and kind of leading the way. So I want you to share with your company, Assemble, you have a framework, if I'm calling that the correct thing, called Courage. Wait, am I saying it in the wrong? Or Candor, Courage, and Care.
You got it.
I just kept thinking triple C's, Candor, Courage, and Care. So can you share a little bit about that with everyone and how that can, if there's some tips that they can incorporate in their day with that?
Absolutely. Candor, Courage, and Care is our trademarked leadership model. And all the work that we do surrounds candor, courage, and care. It's the way that we coach leaders to lead. It is the way in which we plan and deliver our leadership offsites. It is the way in which all of our training is developed. We believe that when we lead and function with candor, courage, and care, we really have the ability to change the workplace to be more people focused. So candor is the what. It's about being honest, frank, and direct with people all the time so they can be at their best as often as possible. Courage is the when. Courage is about saying what needs to be said as soon as possible and not waiting. Because when we wait, it's usually for us because we're uncomfortable. When you ask people, what we've learned over time is that people want to hear feedback as soon as possible so that they can continue to do what's working right now or fix what isn't working right now. And care is the why. Care is about intention. Care is about being as empathic and genuine as possible. So candor, courage, and care is the way that we believe the world of work can change.
Yeah, really cool. It's a really good takeaway for everyone listening. I like what you mentioned in the courage part about having the courage to offer feedback as soon as possible. We've done a lot of episodes on Create Magic at Work about the art of feedback, how to give feedback. We've done some on courage as well. And I've never heard that mentioned in that way. And it's funny you mentioned that because, not funny, it actually makes perfect sense. A lot of clients that I work with when they're working through effective communication or wanting to approach someone and have a conversation and maybe practice that, you can see with some that holding back or wanting to wait or, well, it wasn't at the right time. Well, we were so busy today. We didn't see each other. And then, I just fired a text message over, right? Like those are the things. But really what you're calling out is, gosh, this sounds kind of harsh for me to say, but like the lack of courage within us to have that deep and meaningful conversation and approach it with courage without blame or judgment and offer the candid feedback that you want to offer. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on how have you seen that? Have you seen people like not wanting to have the uncomfortable conversation, firing off the text message instead? What would you say to someone that's kind of leaning in that space?
You nailed it. One of the most important parts of our model is what we call valid excuses. And valid excuses are what hold us back from sharing feedback in a timely fashion. Valid excuses is the other side of courage. And we have a really well-known learning program called Unlocking the Power of Feedback with Candor, Courage, and Care. And in our program, we teach people about valid excuses. And what we learn over time is that regardless of industry, regardless of level, we share all the same valid excuses, the same things that hold us back. You just named a whole bunch of them. I don't have the time. I might not know how. I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. It's not my place. I'll do it later. There's so many things that hold us back from sharing direct feedback right away because we don't really think it's the right thing to do now. We feel uncomfortable. We have a fear. But if we know how, if we've got the confidence and the model to share feedback properly, we would all be sharing feedback with candor, courage, and care.
And I think that's the point there too, is having a model that you're comfortable practicing with an executive coach like me or like yourself, practicing how you're going to deliver that feedback. Because I think the other side of this is one of the things that hold people back from having that courageous conversation is they've been given feedback in the past that was candor on like level 12 without the care.
It's so funny. We say that. So people have often asked me, why is it candor, courage, and care? And I say, if you don't have all three present, it doesn't work. So you can have candor and courage, but if you don't have the care, you might get hurt. And you can have candor and care, but if you don't have the courage, you might wait too long. And you can have courage and care, but if you don't have candor, you don't get the whole message. And so it is really important to have all three legs of that stool present at the same time.
Okay, one more question before we pull a card message for everyone today. I'm curious because you've been in HR for so long. When, I had never even known what an executive coach was. I don't even think they existed except for maybe Marshall Goldsmith when I was like 18 going into the workforce. Like when I left my job and told my parents who were, boomers, that I was going to be executive coach. Like, what the hell is that? Like, what do you do? Like, what are you going to do? So HR, seeing how it's morphed and changed throughout the years, what's your view? You have a leadership development company. Part of it is executive coaching. I have an executive coaching firm. How do you view how executive coaching fits into organizations in the workplace now, today? Do you think it's essential? Do you think it's like a extra perk for people? What's your take on that? Just having kind of seen the landscape for so long.
It's such a good question. And I think the answer is it depends on the leader. So there are some leaders that really understand the value of coaching and see coaching as something that is valuable to leaders as they work on who they want to be and who they are today. And those leaders want to invest in the leaders on their team or themselves. And they make time, they create resources for coaching in their business, and they consider that a business imperative. And they understand that good leadership has a very clear and direct impact on the business. Good leaders retain people, retaining people, creating loyalty with people, creates happier employees creates happier customers creates customer loyalty creates higher stock price. I mean, we can go on and talk about why this matters and how it has a direct impact. And oftentimes people that have experienced good coaching themselves are believers and want to offer coaching to members of their own team. Where I think it goes wrong or awry is when coaching is used punitively. So sometimes we get a call at our company and people will say, "Hey, Jill, we've got a leader who is bad news bears and we want to get a coach for them." And that's when I say, hold on a second, is a coach the right thing for this person? Because a coach is about growing leadership. It's not about getting someone in trouble. And so it's a leader's job to performance manage. It's a coach's job to help a leader become the best of themselves and develop themselves.
Very good. That was so good. Thanks for sharing that perspective. Totally agree. And also, I think I've said this before on the show, but if you're like, wow, I could really use support in my leadership from an executive coach, most of us offer time to meet up to discuss that ahead of time. And I think some people have a poor understanding of what a coach does because of how much the coaching industry has kind of exploded throughout COVID. And there's different types of coaches. And so you just really explained very eloquently the executive coach and what the executive coach does. And we have a lot of training and certifications to help build that future. I always say we're the architects of the future, and your therapist is the archaeologist of the past, which is both fine. Anyways, I could go on and on about that, but that was so good. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for everyone listening. It's going to be a message for us today from the universe. No matter when you're hearing this episode, let's see what we want. Ooh, okay. So we got confidence. And there's a illustration of a peacock with her feathers all spread. And the affirmation is, I am proud of my unique gifts and I am excited to share them with others. So everyone listening, I am proud of my unique gifts and I am excited to share them with others. There's 2 coaching questions on this journal prompt card from Create Magic at Work. Jill, I'm going to ask you one to offer an answer for the listeners. And I'm asking you the second one on here because of your background. So what are 3 ways that we can be supportive to our coworkers?
The first thing that comes to my mind is we can build authentic relationships. So as we get to know people, we have the ability to compliment them, support them, know them, work with them, partner with them. I think that was more than 3. But those are the ways that I think that we can support our coworkers. But it all starts with building very, very authentic relationships. And the more that you really know a person, the more you can support them and build their confidence.
Yeah. And the more you can recognize the unique gifts in others, because the affirmation was, I'm proud of my unique gifts and I'm excited to share them with others. The more you support each other, get to know people authentically, like you said, you can recognize the unique gifts within them, pinpoint those gifts, and then we can, use them for the whole collaborative team effort as those peacock feathers spread.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So Jill, if people want to connect with you on LinkedIn, which I highly recommend, and work with Assemble, how can they connect with you?
Thank you so much. I can be found on LinkedIn very easily under Jill Katz. It's Katz, like zebra. And you can find us online. Our website is hrassemble.com.
Awesome. Candor, courage, and care.
That's right.
Have to have all 3. Jill, thank you so much for bringing some magic to the listeners today.
It was so much fun to talk to you. You are full of magic yourself.
Thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming back every week to listen to a new episode of Create Magic at Work and really helping to support and advocate for healthy leaders, workplaces, and lives for all of us. If you want any information on how to connect with me, click on the link in the show notes. You'll get access to all of the social media links for Create Magic at Work. Stay following along for more amazing episodes where we help you improve productivity and profitability in the workplace and decrease stress. Sending magic to everyone, and see you next time.